Hi everyone, it's Bridget here. Welcome to the Hadley Books YouTube channel. I know that I posted here in the past, but I kind of wanted to come back on here and continue posting more. I've done a podcast in the past as well, and so, but I kind of was thinking a little bit recently that to share my love of books, it's better to do it with a camera so you can see all of the books and everything that I've been doing as well. So I figured a YouTube channel would be a great channel for that, a big resource for that. So on this first episode, I kind of want to introduce myself, tell you a little bit about myself, my favorite things, and as well as what I've been reading for 2025 so far and what I plan to read for the month of February at least. This is coming out on February 6th, so it will be posted. I'm recording it on February 5th, but posting on February 6th. So it is about a little less than a week old from, a little less than a week into February. But it's still my February TBR, let's just say. So a little bit about myself. I love reading. I've loved to read since I was a little kid, probably since I learned how to read in kindergarten, first grade. And once I learned how to read, I took off and was reading everything from Cat in the Hat to Junie B. Jones and so on and so forth. I loved reading because I love reading because I feel like I can escape from the world that way. Helps me kind of digest everything after a long day at work. I can just jump into a book and I can escape the realities of life for just a little bit. So, especially what's going on in the world nowadays, it is a great depressor, or, great refresher, or, great way to kind of escape for a little bit and go into your own little world and enjoy the characters, enjoy, people's minds, I guess, in reading and all these different books. So, what I read, a little bit about my reading journey so far in the year 2025. Well, in the year 2024, at least, I've read 49 books. My goal was 50. I kind of hit 50, kind of not. Read the last book on going into from New Year's Eve into New Year's Day, so I counted the 50th book for 2024, but hey, why not? It was one book off, right? So, my goal every year, I set my goal for 2020. For every year, I set my goal at 25 books. Usually hit that goal around summertime, so then I increase it to 50. So that's what I continue doing and seeing if I can hit 50. But I don't know. Sometimes I can't, sometimes I can't. Sometimes I can and sometimes I can't. So we'll see. So what I like to do on my side job is read, create a blog. I have a blog doing book reviews, talking about books. You can follow that as well at hadleybooks.com. And I'm going to continue posting on here as well, at least once a week. And I haven't made a commitment to continue with the podcast as well. I think YouTube is a great way to show books as well as talk about books. So I think the YouTube channel is my go-to source for right now, at least. So people can see what I'm reading as well as hear what I'm reading about. So that's why I kind of wanted to start this channel in the first place. Another thing about me is I love animals. I have I had 2 dogs, and one of them recently passed away in December. So now I just have one. But love him to death. His name is Scout. My other dog was named Captain, named after Captain America. And then Scout is a miniature dachshund. So he's one of my best friends, and he's like my little shadow. He follows me everywhere. From the time I get home from work to the time I go to bed to the time I wake up. So, and by the time I go to work as well. So he's my little buddy. He's one of my best friends. And then I have 6 nieces and nephews as well. Love them to death. And I'm the youngest out of 7 kids. I live in New England. Love it. I love living in New England because you get all seasons all year round. So I love feeling all the different seasons and everything. Particularly not the winter time after December. Winter can just go away after December in my mind because I just need snow on Christmas and that's it. But we're expecting a snowstorm tonight into like starting tomorrow morning, all day tomorrow, so not looking forward to that. But hey, it's New England. That's what we kind of signed up for while living here. So why not? But enough about me in particular, but let's get into the books that I've read so far in 2025, as well as the books that I'm going to read for the month of February. So I actually purchased this reading journal here at a local bookstore. I forget the independent bookstore that I purchased it at, but because I go to a lot of different independent bookstores. But I always like to keep a journal to keep track of my reading. I do use apps and stuff. I used to use Goodreads all the time, but I'm starting to branch out to different ones. If you have a recommendation for your favorite one, please let me know so I can try it out. I'm always looking for better ways to keep track of my reading. But I always like to read. I always like to keep a journal for when I read. So, the first book that I read for this year was Haunting Adeline by H.D. Carlton. And I have heard about this book for about a year now, maybe a little less than a year. I follow other people on YouTube as well. Follow Larry Reads, and I follow Gabby as well on BookTube. But so they've talked about Haunting Adeline and Hunting Adeline and everything, the cat and mouse duet, as well in their channels. But so I've heard of this series. I've heard that it's a dark romance, a little intense, a lot of trigger warnings as well in this book. So I was a little hesitant in going into it, but I never not picked up a book after reading a review, good or bad. I always like to give my own opinions about books. So I don't always listen to the reviews, but I take people's opinions as well. So I got this book from my sister for Christmas. She had read it and knew that I would probably want to read it too. She had it on a coffee table one day when I walked into our house, and I was like, "You're reading that? I can't believe you're reading that." And so she's like, "Oh yeah, I'm reading it, and it's an intense book." So I kind of threw it out there that I might want to read it too. So she wound up getting me the book for Christmas. And let me tell you, the trigger warnings are there for a reason. I was doing really good all the way up to, I think, chapter 16. It hits, and then you can't look back. So it is, I would take the trigger warning seriously if you are going to read this book. It is not a light read by any means. It's dark, intense. It is a romance, but it is dark and intense. So it is not a let's sit back and read a nice summer reading book. It's deep. So I say that I liked the characters very much. I think just for really that one part and then going the idea of the book kind of there was bits and pieces that I didn't like about the book. Let's just say there were bits and pieces that I didn't like. I understand the premise of the book. The premise of the book, there was a point to this book. There was a meaning to this book. It follows Adeline and Zaid. Zaid works for a security company, and Adeline is moving into her great-grandmother's house that she winds up finding out that her great-grandmother was murdered in. So now she's setting out to find out what actually happened, and she finds her journals, and the journey kind of goes from there. Meanwhile, Zaid kind of becomes obsessed with Adeline, but in a whole different way, and the obsession kind of goes too far. So I don't want to spoil it too much. It's a good read. Let's just say it's a good read if you like those types of books. I would probably rate it a 3 out of 5. It wasn't a 5-star for me, and it wasn't a 4-star. I think that if I could stomach the whole thing, and there wasn't those deep, scary parts, not scary, but like deep traumatizing. Traumatizing is a great word for it. The traumatizing parts of it, then I would probably rate it more. But because there were those parts, there's certain parts of it, and I understood why those parts were in there, but I think it went down a couple ratings because of that. So that is my rating for Haunting Adeline. I do plan on reading Hunting Adeline soon. I did purchase that book, I think, this weekend. Actually, I went to the local indie bookstore in Andover, Mass, and I picked that up finally this weekend. So do I have plans to read it in February? I'm not sure. I'm going to get through the books that I actually have planned for February before deciding, but it is on my list. Then the next book I read for February, or for January, I should say, the second book that I read for January for the year was Throne of Glass. Now, for Christmas, we did a Secret Santa, and my brother was my Secret Santa, and so he got me, I put on my list, there was, on the Kindle, you can get all 8 books in one, like download in one book. So I asked for that on my Kindle for Christmas, and so my brother was able to do that, which was awesome because that was a fantastic idea. So I read the first book. So I read Throne of Glass. Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. So I read the first book in that series. I have a coworker who read all of the books in the series, so she kind of recommended the way that I should read it. I know that there's a whole bunch of different ideas out there, different methods to read that whole entire series, to intertwine it with other series that Sarah J. Maas has written as well. However, she gave me a certain way to read it, so I'm going to read it that way, because I just want somebody to tell me one straight up answer. Like, when I get multiple different answers, multiple different ways to read a series, I just get confused. I just want to read the series. So I took her opinion to heart. So I'm going to read it one particular way. So Throne of Glass was the first book. Loved it. I loved Darwin, I think is his name. Darwin, the male character, the prince. I loved the girl in the book. I loved the whole thing. I loved the way that she was kind of a servant, and so now she has to go fight to become the king's servant, so then she can be set free. She was a slave, then became a prisoner, I think, right? She became the prisoner. She was in prison. To get out of prison, she had to go try to fight and become the servant for the king. So she has to go through all these different challenges to become the slave, or to become the servant for the king to be set free. And I loved the king's son, and I loved the other character in the book. And now that I don't have the book in front of me, I don't remember all these characters' names. Hold on one second. I have the book down here next to me. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. But, so Selena Saradonian, is the girl's name. So Selena was a prisoner, and now she was an assassin and is summoned to the castle. She has no love for the vicious king who rules from his throne of glass, but she has not come to kill him. She has come to win her freedom. If she defeats 23 murderers, thieves, and warriors in a competition, she will be released from prison to serve as the king's champion. So she was an assassin, put in prison. To get released from prison, she has to go fight these 23 other people to become the servant of the king. But I love everything about this book. I know that a lot of people don't like the first books in series, but I often do. I often do find enjoyment in the first book of the series. If I don't find enjoyment in the first book of the series, I don't continue with the series. That's what happened with me in the Ninth House, I believe it's called. I didn't really enjoy that book, so I didn't continue with the series, point blank. But I really enjoyed this book. Really enjoyed the Guitar series by Sarah J. Maas as well. I read all of those books that are up to date. There are five Guitar books. And then I think another one is coming out, I believe, at the end of this year, sometime this year. She has another one coming out for that series. But then she has this Throne of Glass series. That is an 8-book series. And then she has the Crescent City. And then Assassin something. She has another series as well that I have to read too. But I really enjoyed Sarah J. Maas books. I really enjoyed the world building in them. I really enjoyed the characters in them. The male character in this, besides the kings, I really enjoyed them. I really enjoyed the kind of not love triangle, but I would kind of say I'm not I kind of agree that it's kind of a love triangle, but kind of action going on in this book as well. So we'll see where this goes. Really enjoying this so far. But I put a pause on this right now, and I picked up the next book I read in January was The Housemaid. Now, I wanted to read this book. It was on my list, but my friend, my childhood best friend, she read it, and she's like, you have to put it on the top of your list. So I threw it back on the top of my list, and I picked it up. Loved it. Now, was it a 5-star read? Probably not. Probably like a 4-star. But I loved Nina. Well, no. Nina is the mother. I did not like Nina in the beginning. Towards the end, I kind of understood Nina's point of view. I loved the male character at the beginning. Kind of didn't like him at the end. And the maid all the way through was... I enjoyed the maid's point of view. I enjoyed everything about the maid. So there were plot twists that I kind of saw coming, kind of didn't. It was, I don't want to say it's a predictable book, but it could have gone one of two ways. And I kind of saw that kind of in the beginning, that it kind of could have gone one or two ways. So it kind of went the second way that I was predicting. And it was good. I enjoyed it. It was a good plot twist. Was it a 5-star plot twist? Probably not. But it was an enjoyable read nonetheless. And so, yeah, so 4 stars on that. But after The Housemaid, I am finally getting into, or finishing up, or whatever you want to call it, getting into Onyx Storm. But before Onyx Storm, I have to reread Iron Flame. Now, Fourth Wing in 2024 was what brought me back to my love of fantasy. Was it 2024 or 2023? I can't remember. Maybe it was 2023. It was 2023. There, I read that book. Because the Iron Flame was 2024 and then Onyx Storm was 2025. Yes. So, 2023, I read Fourth Wing. It got me back into my love of fantasy. Absolutely loved it. Absolutely crushed it. So, I immediately, when Iron Flame came out, had to read that really quick. And now Onyx Storm. However, because it's been so long since I've read Iron Flame, I need to reread it before I get back into Onyx Storm. Or before I even open Onyx Storm. So, currently, I am rereading Iron Flame. And so, I am 125 pages into it. So, not even close to halfway through. However, I do most of my reading at nighttime and then on the weekends. I really crush my reading during the weekends because I have no interruptions. 60% of the time, I have no interruptions. I usually find that I can only read like an hour or an hour and a half at nighttime because I come home completely drained from work, I eat dinner, and then I kind of just want to relax and forget. So, I'm usually watching TV by 8 o'clock. So anywhere between 6 and 8, I'm reading. But after 8, I have to watch TV to get my mind off of everything. So I'm probably gonna crush it this weekend. Probably gonna crush it maybe tomorrow as well, before and after work. Tomorrow, probably gonna be working from home tomorrow. So gonna get a reading done tomorrow as well. So that is my reading journey so far for 2025. I plan on, after reading Iron Flame or rereading Iron Flame, I'm going to jump into Onyx Storm. Loved the sprayed edges on this copy. Love it. I picked it up. Was it last week or the week before? It was January 21st that came out. And I got it a couple days later. So maybe it wasn't last week, but it was the week before. And I remember I went into Barnes & Noble with my friend. And I was like, it was like the week of release. And I was expecting to walk into Barnes & Noble and having this huge display and everything. There was like no huge display. And I'm like, where is it? I'm looking all around the front tables. And I'm like, I don't see it anywhere. I don't know, where this book is. And without even saying the name of the book or anything like that. I simply said to my friend, I looked at my friend, I'm like, I don't know where this book is. It should be here, and I don't know where this book was. And a woman walks right by us and just pointed upstairs. She knew exactly what I was talking about. She could read my mind. Great minds think alike. And we went upstairs, and immediately there was a big display of it. So I think readers and book buddies can read each other's minds. Or just everybody in Barnes & Noble can read each other's minds. I don't know. But I think it has, it says something when you don't even say the name of the book and people knew what you were talking about. But anyway, that is, I think, so Iron Flame, Onyx Storm, and then probably at the end of those 2 books, probably be done with fantasy for just a little bit. So my plan is to probably read The Striker and get into that series by Anna Wong. And so I read all of her books so far. Read the Twisted series, and I read another series by her as well, and I enjoyed it very much. So my plan is to get into this book next, after Iron Flame and Onyx Storm. So that is my reading journey so far for 2025. My plans for reading in February as well. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope to be making plenty more. So maybe I can figure out how to post a vlog as well, so I can show myself reading as well. I hope to figure that out soon as well. So anyway, I hope everybody has a great and wonderful rest of the week. And remember that the best leaders are readers. And have a great one. Thanks. Bye.